Example 8. A market researcher collecting data on 100 households finds that 81 have cable television, 65 have high-speed internet, and 56 have both. All right, so there are some questions that follow. So to make it easier to answer those questions, we are going to organize this information in a Venn diagram before proceeding. All right, so we know that we're going to label this rectangle as the universe. Okay, so remember the universe consists of 100 households that were surveyed. And we have two sets here and we need to label them. So if you notice, this whole statement had to do with cable television. So CT, that's going to be one of our sets, cable television. And the other circle is going to be tracking the high-speed internet. Okay, so again, you have this researcher who's collecting data on households, trying to figure out who has cable television, who has high-speed internet, and who has both, or even who has neither. All right, so there is some overlap to the circles because it is possible to have both cable and internet, okay, obviously. So now we're just going to start putting numbers in the appropriate places in the Venn diagram. Remember, whatever you end up with, your numbers have to add up to 100 because that's the total number of people surveyed. All right, and I've told you in previous problems, you want to start with the intersection and work your way out, okay? So we need to look at this piece, okay? So we need to look at the number of people who have both cable television and high-speed internet, okay? So you are told that right here, okay, 56 have both, okay? So we need to go ahead and label this little region. Let me shade it in, okay? So when it says 56 have both, that's talking about the intersection or the overlap. That's going to be this little piece because it falls in both circles. So that is going to be labeled with the number 56. Okay. All right. So, we still have a lot of labeling to do. You've got to label, when you have a Venn diagram, it breaks everything up into compartments and you need to make sure all of your compartments are labeled. All right. I am going to move on to this compartment that I'm going to, kind of put red lines on here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's look at this. So we need to figure out what number goes here. Okay, so it's in the cable television circle, okay, but it's not in the overlap part, okay? So what this is, okay, so actually I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna actually shade it with something else. Okay, let's do, I don't know, we pick another color. I'll do green, okay? So I'm going to try to look at this part, okay? So like I said, still in the cable television circle, but not in that blue part where it overlaps, okay? All right, so give me a second to shade this, okay? And there's a little bit more here, so let me see here. Let me get a little smaller highlighter here. Go. All right, so right here. So I'm looking at this green part, okay? So this green part right here, okay? So these are people who have cable television. So they have cable television, but they don't fall in the overlap, meaning they don't fall into the internet circle. So we're going to say they don't have internet. They have cable, but they don't have internet. But do not have internet. Okay, so how do we figure out that number? Well, we know we're trying to fill in the cable circle. So what do we know about cable? We know that 81 people have cable television. Okay, that's what we know. But remember, the entire cable television circle is this entire thing, the green plus the blue part. Those two compartments form the entire cable circle, okay? So what happens here is that when you add up all the numbers in the cable circle, they have to total to be 81. You've already accounted for 56 people because 56 people have cable television and high-speed internet. So now we're just trying to figure out the number of people who have just cable but not internet. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 81 people because 81 total people have cable, and you're going to subtract out how many of them have both cable and internet. Okay, and this is going to give us the remainder of people who just have cable. Okay, so if you do this subtraction, this is going to be 25. Okay, so 25 is going to go here. Okay, so now if you add up the numbers in the entire circle, the green part plus the blue part, okay, the 25 plus the 56 is going to give you the 81 people who have cable. Okay, so everything in the cable circle has to add to 81. Okay, all right, we're going to do the same kind of thing to label this part over here. So we're moving on to the internet circle. Okay, and again, this portion of the circle is outside of the intersection or the overlap part, the blue piece. Okay, so we need to figure out what to label this compartment with. Okay, so let's do that. All right, let me shade completely here. Okay, so it's the same kind of deal here. Okay, we know that, okay, so when you look at this, okay, the purple piece plus the blue piece, those two compartments combine to give you the entire internet circle. So you know that the blue part, and I should label that for you, the blue part right here, this 56, that 56 is representing the households or people who have both cable and internet. Okay, but then if you look at just the purple part, okay, everybody in the internet circle, the blue part plus the purple piece, they have internet. Okay, but if you're in the purple part, you don't fall in the cable circle. Okay, so you don't have cable. So this purple part is representing the households with internet, but not cable, if that makes sense. Okay, because this purple part, it's in the internet circle, but it falls outside of the cable circle. Okay, so we need to figure out what the purple part needs to be labeled with, what number. Okay, so what do we know about internet? We know that internet, let's see, there are 65 households with high-speed internet. Okay, so that means the entire internet circle, the numbers have to add to be 65. Okay, so if we take 65 and we subtract out, because 56 households are already in the internet circle. If we subtract that out, okay, that's going to give us 9. That means that 9 people go in this black, or sorry, in this purple part. Okay, so that means 9 households have internet, but not cable. Okay. All right, so now we need to check ourselves. Are we done? Okay, remember, how many households were surveyed? 100. Okay, so the universe consists of 100 households. Only 25 plus 56 plus 9 of them have been accounted for. Okay, so we need to figure out who has not been accounted for. All 100 households have to be accounted for in the Venn diagram. All right, so we're going to go out to the side here and we're going to add 25 plus 56 plus 9. Okay, and we're going to get a number for this. So let's see, we have 5 plus 6 is 11 plus 9 is 20. Okay, so that's going to give us 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 90 households have been accounted for. Okay, so those 90 households fall somewhere in the two circles. Okay, so that means there are 10 households that we haven't put in the Venn diagram. Okay, they don't fall in either circle, otherwise they would have been accounted for. So that means they're going to go outside both circles. Okay, so that tells us, okay, these 10 households do not fall in the circle. Okay, so these are going to be the, I guess, I keep writing people, but I mean households. These are going to be the people with neither cable nor internet. Okay, so now the Venn diagram is complete. Okay, if you added up all these numbers, it should add to 100. Okay, so now this is going to make it really easy to answer our questions that follow. Okay, so How many households do not have high-speed internet? Okay, so to answer this question, basically, you want to take everything in your universe. Okay, so we'll say 100 households are in the universe, and we're going to subtract out the pieces in the high-speed internet circle. Okay, so we're going to subtract out 56. That's the blue part. Okay, there are 56 households that have both internet and cable. So we're going to subtract them out, and we're going to subtract out 9. Okay, if you do 56 plus 9, that's going to tell you how many households have um, internet. Okay, so let me see, I'm gonna add that up for us. That is going to give us 65. Okay, so basically 65 households have internet. Okay, so if you subtract that from the total number of households in the universe, you're going to get 35 households that do not have high-speed internet. Okay, you could have also gotten it by adding the numbers outside of the the internet circle. Okay, so 25 falls outside of that circle, and so does the 10. So 25 plus 10 gives you the 35. That's another way you could have done it. Okay. All right, part B. How many households have either cable television or high-speed internet? Okay. When you read this question, you've got to be careful here. You see this word or, okay? And I've given you a little speech, okay, that when you see intersection, the keyword is and when you see union, the keyword is or. So this is referring to a union problem, okay? So what is being asked here, we want to do cable or, which is union, internet. Okay, so you are unioning these sets. Okay, so basically what that means, you fall into the category of either you have cable or you have internet, or you can have both. Okay, so we are unioning those two sets so to get the number, you're going to do 25. You're just going to add, you're combining the two sets. So it's going to be the green portion plus the blue portion plus the purple portion. Okay, so you're going to do 25 plus 56 plus 9. Okay, and if you do that, you should get 90. Okay, and that makes sense because remember, this 10 is lurking outside of the circles. 10 households have neither cable nor internet. Okay, so that makes sense. All right, couple more questions. Part C. How many households have neither cable television nor high-speed internet? We just answered that. Okay, it's the 10 households that lurk outside of the two circles. Okay, so you can just look at your diagram and know that the answer is 10. And then finally, how many households have cable television but not high-speed internet? Okay, so cable but not internet. Okay, so that is the green portion of the Venn diagram. Okay, we've already talked about this. The green portion represents the households that have cable television but do not have internet. So the answer is just simply 25. Okay, so that's why the Venn diagram is so useful. It helps you organize your data and you can just answer your questions pretty quickly. Okay, let's try another one. And the next one we try is going to have 3 sets instead of 2.